It would appear that Donald Trump has cancelled all future student interviews to get visas to study in the United States while they develop some more deeply intrusive social media examinations to make sure they don't let any bad guys into the States. But considering they wouldn't let a terrorist in, or a criminal anyway, they're just going to be looking at their social media accounts. Oh man, free speech. What's happened? What's happened to you? And this just isn't Harvard, it's all US universities he's done this for. The date is the 27th of May. Madness.
This is breaking news. The Trump administration is now suspending all student visa interviews until further notice. Why? So they can stalk your social media. The Department of State announced that the pause is necessary so that they can think of ways to vet through applicants' social media to look for reasons that'll make them inadmissible. Based on the legal battles between the administration and several universities in the United States, I'm going to assume that this includes terrorism and anti-Semitism. Now, this is just a temporary pause, but even that will significantly delay processing times for student visas. If you're applying for a student visa, then I recommend cleaning up your social media as much as possible before your interview.
All right, lots been happening. Last 5 months for international students in the US has been interesting. But then again, last 2 years for international students, whether it's Australia, Canada, UK, has been interesting to begin with. So we have just heard that the current administration is going to put a pause on scheduling new student visa interviews. So if you have an existing student visa interview throughout, like in the summer, you're fine. Don't panic. It hasn't been canceled. They just paused scheduling new student visa interviews. And if you recall, they had indicated that they want to do more thorough vetting, specifically being able to look at social media profiles, which students have been submitting for the last 5-6 years as part of the DS-160. They are probably trying to figure out the program, the technology to scrub the profiles, and then B, just trying to make sure that they are within the right framework, creating the right systems for it. So we hold our breath and wait and see. Guys, you have to remember, the first time when this administration came, they didn't do this many changes and they didn't feel like it went the way they wanted it to go. So this time round, they're making sure that they do the changes that they want to implement, which means when a new government, a new administration comes in, we have to wait for those systems. Now, some of these systems can take longer than others. Some of those are not a sweet pill to swallow. They're more bitter than the others. But at the end of the day, if you're an international student, they're laying out the parameters for what they expect you to do when you're here. If it doesn't align with you, then the US might not be a good fit. And that's okay. We find you a better fit.
The Trump administration has stopped processing all student visas worldwide at every U.S. embassy around the world. They claim it's temporary because they want to implement a new policy, a policy of reviewing every person's social media accounts before the student visa interview. That includes all online activity, posts, shares, comments, even likes. And based on what your social media activity is, that will determine, at least partially, whether you will get your student visa. You have to assume that expressions of political opinion, participation in certain demonstrations, or sharing certain content could be debilitating to you getting a student visa. While making your profiles private may sound like a good idea, although I don't know this for a fact, I have to assume, and you have to assume, that the U.S. government can look into your private posts. If you're planning on applying for a student visa, now is the time to audit your social media presence and start consulting with an immigration attorney. My expectation is that this pause will only be temporary and that student visa interviews will be rescheduled within a matter of days or weeks. But drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about this new policy.
All right, folks. Politico, in just the last few, maybe in just an hour, has announced that there is reports that Secretary of State Marco Rubio has told embassies around the world to pause scheduling student visa interviews for the time being as they figure out some critical steps. So if you've got an existing visa interview, as of right now, It's all systems go. They have not canceled existing visa interviews. They've just paused scheduling new visa interviews going forward. This is probably related to the more stricter vetting that has been talked about that they want to implement, probably scrutiny of social media and sites and things like that. So, as of right now, the directive is to pause student visa interview scheduling, but no more directives have been given. So I will continue to monitor this. So please do not share or repost or continue to spread misinformation that might be out there that student visas have been canceled and all of that thing. Right now, it's a pause on scheduling student visa interviews until a framework has been determined. And once we know what that is, I will update. Okay? So let's not get all crazy about this.
Sound the alarm. Trump just slammed the brakes on new student visa interviews, and the message is clear. International students stay out. As of May 27th, every U.S. embassy and consulate has been told to pause all new visa interview scheduling for international students and academic exchange visitors. The official reason? They're expanding social media vetting, but the timing couldn't be more targeted. This move comes right after Trump tried to block Harvard from enrolling foreign students and slashed $100 million in federal contracts when a judge got in the way. Now he's going after the pipeline itself, freezing visas before students even get here. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says more guidance is coming soon, but between this and the Harvard drama, one thing's obvious. Trump's education crackdown isn't about security, it's about control. America's global academic leadership hanging by a visa thread. I'll continue watching as the story unfolds, so stick around. And for more details and breakdowns about this story, subscribe to my free Substack. Link is in the bio.
Just announced the Trump administration is planning to end student practical training work permit after graduation. Remember what Trump promised to students.
What I want to do and what I will do is you graduate from a college, I think you should get automatically as part of your diploma a green card.
Now his new nominee for head of USCIS said the following.
Thank you, Senator. I think the way in which OPT has been handled over the past 4 years with the help of certain decisions coming out of the D.C. Circuit Court have been a real problem in terms of misapplication of the law. What I want to see would be essentially a regulatory and sub-regulatory program would allow us to remove the ability for employment authorizations for F1.
So no more OPT after graduation. That's the plan. Students still want to come to the United States if they can't work? Comment and follow me for more.
Okay, this is actually breaking news. The Trump administration just paused on student visa again. Today, Secretary of State Marco Rubio ordered all U.S. embassies, consulates worldwide to stop scheduling new interviews for international students, for people who are applying for F, M, and J visas. The reason? Expanded social media vetting. That means if you are a student hoping to study in United States this fall, your plan might be on hold. Already scheduled interviews will still happen for now, but any open slots are being pulled immediately. The new vetting policy includes scanning platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and X. Official says it's about national security and a crackdown on foreign influences and anti-Semitism on U.S. campuses. But there are going to be some side effects. Thousands of students face delays or disruptions. Universities, especially those relying on international enrollment, could lose major revenue, and the cultural diversity on campus will take another hit. This follows Trump's recent crackdown on Harvard and other schools, signaling that this administration's students' visa policies are becoming more aggressive by the day. My problem is, will this make America safer or just less attractive for what top students? Let me know what you think, and if you want more updates like this, do not forget like and follow and share. Thank